Domain 4.9. Given a scenario, use data sources to support an investigation. So our objectives here, we're going to go over our different log data that we're going to want to discover and do log aggregation, and also our data sources. Let me actually go ahead and restart this actually. Just doing that thing, where the images weren't pulling up. Okay. All right. Domain 4.9. Given a scenario, use data sources to support an investigation. So here we're going to go over the different log data and data sources that we want to use to discover and support our investigation in case of incident response. So log data and incident response. Log data plays a crucial role in incident response, serving as digital records that track and store activities within that organization's systems, the infrastructure. So they're invaluable for identifying, understanding, and rectifying security incidences. So we have forensic evidence. So that is like, okay, we had a breach, we had an incident. Let's go through the logs now. This is now evidence. And then we also want to have continuous monitoring of all of our logs. Before I get into the nitty-gritty of the different type of logs, guys, in modern cybersecurity, it's going to be hard-pressed to find a SOC team that's doing individual log dives as their way of doing consistent monitoring. Remember, SIM, log aggregation, collection, single pane of glass, ingesting big data, utilizing AI and machine learning to help us do log diving and discovery, okay? But now for the Security Plus exam, let's get into this. So first thing we're going to talk about is firewall logs. So firewall logs are important for monitoring and controlling network traffic. So what we're looking at the firewall logs for is in case we had like data exfiltration, right? Something coming across the wire. We want to make sure we look at the firewall logs to look at patterns and make sure that we're doing proper traffic filtering. Application logs. So application logs record events within software applications, offering insights into application performance, user activities, and potential security issues. So this is going to allow us to do user activity monitoring. So application logs track user interactions, error tracking. We can help pinpoint errors, whether that just be in the code itself or issues that arise in the application. And also, it can also help us do performance assessment, right? If we're doing if we're looking at application logs from the SOC perspective, we can say, oh, hey, we see a lot of like 400 errors here in this web application. Endpoint logs. So endpoint logs document activities on endpoint devices like workstation, laptops, and mobile devices. So from the endpoints, right? When we ingest those logs and we do it, we want to start doing some user behavior analysis. Typically, like if most incidents happen because of phishing email, endpoint logs are going to be one of the critical things in that incident response. Like, okay, how did this happen? Let's go through this user and let's see what they downloaded. Operating system specific. So like Linux, Mac, Windows, they're going to have their own OS specific security logs that you may have to become familiar with if those OSs play a big role on the enterprise. IPS and IDS logs. So if we do deploy some network or host-based intrusion prevention and detection systems, we want to go through those logs to look at our trends of what's happening on the network, make sure we're doing attack detection, make sure that these logs, we don't have any false negatives in there, right? We're like, oh, hey, this didn't alert us of this because I'm doing the log dives right now and this is an incident. And then overall network logs. So this could be like NetFlow, right? Where we actually go through and look through our NetFlow caches and our NetFlow logs to say, hey, let's identify top talkers. Let's do some traffic analysis. We can implement some AI and some ML to do anomaly detection. And then metadata and incident response. So metadata and incident response refers to data that provides information that's contextual, right? Additional details that may not be important to the actual main function. So metadata can give us some contextual clarity. It can provide us enhanced analysis, right? To say, hey, well, this happened in this geographical region, this geographical region of this source IP, or whatever other metadata there may be, like the timestamps, other additional device information that can help us to do incident correlation. So data sources and incident response. So like we're talking about, right? We need to have that big data being ingested into our SIEM or our systems during log aggregation. We do this if we have a rich information pool, we can get that broad perspective and have that comprehensive understanding of our security. And then that from there, look at our security objectives and say, okay, look, here's the big picture. We deal with HIPAA information. Our biggest thing is data breaches. We don't want to have any data breaches. So we're going to configure our security enforcement policies, that policy engine, to focus on that. All right, vulnerability scans. So vulnerability scans systematically inspect systems and networks for security weaknesses, providing essential data for preventing and responding to incidences. So we're just saying, hey, our vulnerability scans allow us to discover the risk, discover any exploits in our organization. Automated reports. So we can configure in our systems that alert and detect for us to also give us reports, to send us emails that, hey, in this past hour, here's what's happened. We've had some anomalies detected. Instead of us going and configuring that ourselves, that report. Dashboards. So dashboards are going to be a big thing when we're talking about our SIEM or SIM appliances. We want to create dashboards to do real-time monitoring. So in our SOC environment with all of our big TVs and monitors that we're looking at on the wall, we want the dashboards that help us meet our security objectives, okay? That give us real-time monitoring of the different security metrics that we as an organization are going to establish. We want to make sure they're user-friendly. So if we have to have stakeholders come and look and say, hey, look, we're 90% done with this migration, then we'll be in compliance. So tell the legal team we're almost in compliance. You can come look at this dashboard. Maybe we can send you that dashboard, right? Packet captures. So besides just logs, we can perform some packet capturing on our network to do really in-depth detailed analysis. One thing I always like to reiterate when we're doing these packet captures, this can be done using a thing like Wireshark. We also have something called span, where we can mirror traffic based on a VLAN. So for example, we have this switch here, this weird 2-port switch. We can span these. So let's say our user connecting off here, doing regular internet traffic, right? We can span this port or mirror it and capture everything coming in on that interface. And then we can take that packet capture, use Wireshark to open it up and do some packet analysis. Big thing I always like to talk about. If you truly want to do detailed, deep packet inspection, you need to have TLS configured and enabled on Wireshark, guys. Because if you want to look at that HTTP traffic, it's almost always HTTPS nowadays, right? So if you want to see what that user truly is doing, you need to have TLS inspection enabled. So you need to probably import an SSL cert that allows you to almost like a proxy, right? Where you can look inside that HTTPS packet, okay? All right, let's go ahead and do our quiz and end domain 4.9. Question 1. How do IPS and IDS logs contribute to a security investigation? They're going to offer insights into potential security threats through alerts on suspicious activities. Question 2. What is the primary purpose of analyzing firewall logs during a security investigation? That's going to be B, to identify and understand the nature of traffic, including unauthorized access attempts or rule violations. Question 3. What role does metadata play in supporting a security investigation? That's going to be B, to provide background information and context about data, aiding in understanding and analyzing the significance of it. Let's just do correlation as well, kind of maybe see a bigger picture here during our investigations. Question 4. How do packet captures assist in security investigations? By capturing and recording all data that is transmitted over a network, allowing for detailed analysis of network traffic. Question 5. What is the significance of automated reports and dashboards in the context of a security investigation? So that's going to be to have a summarized and real-time view of security events and alerts, aiding in rapid assessment, decision-making, and also to bring in stakeholders, right? To say, hey, look, this is what we have going on. When we're here in the SOC, we're analyzing this to make sure we meet business objectives and that we're doing our role in protecting our infrastructure. Question 6. In the context of a security investigation, how can vulnerability scans be used effectively? It's going to be C, to identify weaknesses in systems and applications that might have been exploited in an incident.